Similarly, add or remove the list elements. Elements can be added or removed from the list, and we can use built-in methods or functions that can be used to execute such operations. So we have already seen what are functions. So when we are discussing about anything in Python, we are actually discussing about the objects, different objects, and that's the reason why Python is considered as an object-oriented programming language. It will be more clear when we will reach to the topics of classes and objects, but we will be only touching or having a brief introduction. But there you will get to realize that what does it mean when we say object, what are the classes and the functions, associated functions. But just assume for the time being, on the list data structure or any other data structure, there are certain operations that we can perform. There are certain functions that we can execute. Okay? As same as I gave an example of a microwave oven. So microwave oven has a couple of different functionalities. Like you have an option of preparing popcorns. You have an option of defrosting any like chicken. So they have a specific time duration, right? So this is what we call different operations that we are performing. Similarly, list is a data structure. We can perform different operations on it. Okay. So the first operation that we can perform is adding an element. How can we add an element? So for example, if I have a list, let's say, let me pull up the whiteboard. So if I have a list, suppose students, and suppose I have, let's say, one student, maybe John, and here's the, and this is the current state of my list. I have to add another student in my list. How can I add it? So what I need to do is I want to expand this and want to add another student, let's say Emily, and probably Adil, and let's say another student Stella, and probably Hannah, and so on and so forth. Okay. So what we can do is we have to execute a certain function that supports adding an element, and those are actually, let me go back. So there is a specific function which is named as append, and we are calling it a method instead of a function. The reason why we are calling it method, I will talk about it later, but methods and functions are same. Okay, so append function or append method is used to append or add a new element at the end of the list. Okay, so whenever I want to add a new element, it will only be added at the end of the list when I use append method. So for example, if I have a list like this, my list 1 2 3 4, and then what I can do is I can append a new element. I have to specify the value of the element. So my list is this list, and I'm appending a new element, let's say 5. So 1 2 3 4 and 5 would be added at the end of the list. Okay. Similarly, I can also append another type of data like new. So new is the string type, and it will be appended at the end of the list. Okay. I can also append or add an element at a specific location within the list. Okay, so I have to use another method called insert method. I have to specify the index where I want to insert an element, the new element. Okay, and so here is an example. So insert to, and whatever I want to insert. So what will it do is it will insert the new element A at the second index. Okay, again, indexing starts from 0. Okay, so whenever I'm specifying 2, so it will current state of the list is this. So 0 1 2. So this is where the new element has to be placed. So A would be placed here at the second index. Okay. Let me give you a demo now.